Hey Bears fans, we're back with an exclusive video and the latest updates on our beloved Chicago Bears. Before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. That way, you'll always stay up to date with breaking news and exclusive content. The rumor that is shaking the NFL this week comes straight out of Chicago, where reports are spreading that the Bears have struck a shocking deal to bring in XAVIER, the electrifying wide receiver whose speed was already setting college football on fire and who has now taken a league by storm with his jaw-dropping acceleration. If this move is indeed confirmed, and right now insiders say it's as close to a done deal as possible, we might be looking at the creation of the single fastest offensive unit in the entire National Football League. Bears fans, who have been starving for a genuine offensive identity for years, are buzzing at the thought of seeing Worthy lined up alongside their current playmakers, with defenses scrambling to even understand how they'll cover so much raw speed on the field at once. The word absurd isn't an exaggeration here. It's the most fitting way to describe how this potential offense would look when unleashed on Sundays, and rival defensive coordinators must already be losing sleep imagining the nightmare of trying to contain it. Chicago hasn't traditionally been a franchise associated with high-flying offensive football. The Bears' history has always been more about bruising defenses, legendary linebackers, and old-school grit rather than flashy scoring drives and deep bombs. That's why this rumor feels like such a cultural earthquake. It suggests that the Bears are flipping the script completely and embracing a modern NFL identity built around speed, explosiveness, and stretching defenses vertically. XAVIER is not just fast. He's historically fast, with numbers at the combine that made scouts double-check their stopwatches. Pairing him with the emerging young quarterback who has already shown flashes of being able to throw lasers downfield is not just about adding another target. It's about rewriting how the Bears want to be seen in the eyes of the league. Suddenly, they're not just about defense anymore. They might be about running up the score in ways fans haven't even dared to dream about. The chemistry factor also plays a massive role in this potential move. Insiders claim that Worthy has already had private conversations with Bears offensive coaches, and the belief is that his unique skill set will be maximized in a system designed to get the ball out quickly into the hands of playmakers who can create yards after the catch. Worthy thrives in that environment, because if he has even a step of separation, defenders are cooked. But it's not just about his ability to stretch the field vertically. He also adds a dangerous wrinkle in short screens, jet sweeps, and quick slants that turn into explosive plays. Add this dimension to an offense already loaded with speed threats at running back and wide receiver, and suddenly the Bears' attack looks less like a traditional football scheme and more like a track team disguised as a football squad. That's what has analysts calling it potentially the fastest offense the NFL has ever seen. From a business perspective, the timing of this rumored deal is also raising eyebrows. The Bears have been under heavy criticism for years for failing to surround their young quarterbacks with proper weapons. Every draft, every offseason, the story has been the same. The defense gets attention while the offense remains stagnant. But if this move truly materializes, it signals a paradigm shift, not just in roster building, but also in franchise philosophy. The front office seems to finally understand that in today's NFL, where passing attacks dominate and speed kills, you can't just rely on defense to win championships. By securing a player like XAVIER, they're sending a loud and clear message. Chicago isn't here to play catch-up anymore. They're here to dictate the pace of the game. That's why this rumor is being treated with such seriousness by insiders. It feels less like speculation and more like the natural evolution of what the Bears desperately needed to do. Of course, as with any blockbuster rumor, skeptics are already questioning the legitimacy and practicality of this move. Some wonder if the Bears can actually afford the cap space to make it happen, while others raise concerns about how a player like Worthy, who is still young and unproven at the professional level, will adapt to the physical demands of the NFL. But those voices are being drowned out by the overwhelming excitement surrounding the possibility. Coaches and players are reportedly thrilled at the idea of practicing against such speed, believing it will elevate the entire team's performance. Fans, too, are letting their imaginations run wild, picturing highlight reels filled with Worthy torching defenders, turning short passes into long touchdowns, and creating the kind of electricity that has been missing from Soldier Field for decades. Whether it's logistically possible or not, the emotional response says everything. People want this to be true. The final layer to this rumor is the psychological warfare it introduces into the division. The NFC North is already competitive, with rivals like the Lions and Packers building their own dangerous offenses. If the Bears really secure Xavier Worthy, it could tilt the balance of power dramatically. Imagine defensive coordinators trying to plan against not only Worthy but the rest of the Bears' speed arsenal. It's the kind of headache that forces entire schemes to be rewritten. And in the NFL, where game planning is everything, creating that kind of chaos is priceless. Even if the rumor hasn't been officially confirmed yet, the fact that it has spread like wildfire across sports media tells you one thing. People believe this move could actually happen, and if it does, the Chicago Bears might transform overnight from an afterthought to one of the most terrifying teams in football. If this rumor evolves into reality, the second wave of conversations will focus not just on Worthy's arrival, but on how the Bears intend to deploy him. The strategy, according to whispers, would be to design an offense that mirrors the Kansas City Chiefs' blueprint during their peak speed years with Tyreek Hill. That means spacing defenses horizontally and vertically until they simply cannot cover every inch of the field, leaving someone open at all times. Worthy, with his record-breaking top speed, becomes the weapon that forces safeties to backpedal and corners to panic, opening up room for other receivers and tight ends underneath. Coaches love the idea because it doesn't just add one new weapon, it multiplies the effectiveness of everyone else in the system. The ripple effect of Worthy's presence could be the single biggest transformation the Bears' offense has seen since the Super Bowl Shuffle era. And insiders suggest the front office knows exactly what they're doing by betting on speed as the future currency of the league. Another aspect driving the excitement is the idea of building around the quarterback's strengths. The Bears' current signal caller has been criticized in the past for inconsistency, but one thing nobody doubts is his arm strength. He can launch the ball 60 yards downfield with a flick of his wrist, and that skill has often gone underutilized because the team lacked receivers who could actually separate at those distances. Worthy fixes that problem instantly. He doesn't just separate, he flies past defenders in a way that turns those long throws into routine connections. Imagine the highlight reels, bombs dropping into Worthy's hands as he streaks past helpless cornerbacks, the crowd roaring as touchdowns pile up. It's not just about winning games. It's about redefining how the Bears are perceived as an organization. For decades, they've been branded as a defensive team. With this rumor, they could rebrand themselves as an offensive juggernaut. The locker room dynamic will also be fascinating to watch if Worthy really joins. Reports suggest that current Bears receivers are excited rather than intimidated, because they understand that adding Worthy won't take touches away, but instead create more opportunities for everyone. Defenses forced to double-team him will leave others open, and suddenly players who struggle for targets might find themselves feasting against single coverage. This could build a culture of unselfishness, where speed and versatility are valued over individual stats. Worthy's arrival might even inject a fresh competitive energy into practices, pushing veterans to step up their game and rookies to realize the speed standard expected of them. Analysts believe that this internal spark might be just as valuable as Worthy's actual on-field contributions, because a hungry, competitive locker room often translates into success on Sundays. From a fan perspective, Soldier Field could finally become a place of offensive fireworks rather than defensive slugfests. Picture a cold December night in Chicago, the wind swirling, and yet the Bears' offense lighting up the scoreboard with explosive plays that no weather condition can slow down. For years, the city has prided itself on grit and grind, but Worthy's arrival would give fans something different, pure entertainment. Kids would beg their parents for Worthy jerseys. Highlight clips would dominate social media every Monday morning, and national broadcasts would start circling Bears games as must-watch television. The brand value of the franchise would skyrocket, sponsorships would pour in, and suddenly the Bears would not only be winning games, but also winning the cultural moment. That's why people keep calling this rumor absurd. Not because it's unbelievable, but because the potential impact feels almost too good to be true. At the same time, rival fans are already preparing their counterarguments. Some say speed alone doesn't win championships, pointing to teams that prioritize balance and physicality. Others argue that Worthy's size could make him vulnerable to big hits from NFL defenders, raising questions about durability. But history shows that game-breaking speed can't be coached, and when it's on the field, it changes everything. The Chiefs proved it, the Dolphins are proving it, and now the Bears might be next in line. Even if critics raise valid concerns, the bottom line is that football is an entertainment product, and there's nothing more entertaining than watching defenders chase shadows they can't catch. Worthy provides exactly that kind of thrill, and that's why the rumor keeps gaining traction despite skepticism. It's simply too tantalizing for the league to ignore. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. If we zoom out and think about the legacy implications, this rumored signing could represent the Bears' boldest attempt in decades to break free from their own history. A franchise long defined by defense could now redefine itself through speed, explosiveness, and creativity. It would be the ultimate statement that Chicago is done living in the past and ready to embrace the modern game. XAVIER Worthy, with his ridiculous speed, becomes not just a player, but a symbol of change. If this rumor turns into reality, we're not just talking about touchdowns and wins. We're talking about a cultural shift for one of the NFL's most storied franchises. And maybe that's why the word spreading around the league right now is so simple, yet so powerful. Absurd. Because sometimes the moves that feel absurd at first end up being the ones that change everything forever. The ripple effects of this rumored signing could also spill far beyond Chicago, sending shockwaves through the entire NFL marketplace. If the Bears are truly able to pair Worthy's once-in-a-generation speed with their already promising offensive core, it sets a dangerous precedent for how other franchises will be forced to respond. Teams that have spent years building defenses around size and physicality may suddenly realize they need to invest heavily in speed at cornerback and safety just to keep up. It's the kind of move that doesn't just elevate one roster, but forces a league-wide adjustment in how defenses are constructed, drafted, and paid. Imagine the ripple in the 2026 draft board, with general managers suddenly prioritizing 40-yard dash times over traditional metrics, all because of the nightmare Worthy and the Bears created. That's why so many insiders are whispering that this deal, if finalized, won't just be a roster addition. It could reshape strategy across the NFL. And for Chicago, that means more than just winning games. It means forcing the league to play by their rules, which is the ultimate form of power any franchise can hold. Finally, the emotional element cannot be overlooked, because Chicago is a city that lives and breathes football, and its fans have endured years of heartbreak, missed opportunities, and wasted talent on the offensive side of the ball. The rumor of XAVIER Worthy joining feels almost like destiny. A long-overdue reward for a fan base that has waited decades to see its team light up the scoreboard rather than grind through low-scoring slugfests. It's about excitement, hope, and belief that the Bears could finally step out of the shadow of their past and embrace a future built on speed, creativity, and showmanship. The sheer possibility of watching Worthy streak down the sideline in navy and orange has already ignited a sense of pride and anticipation that you can feel in every corner of Chicago. Whether this deal is officially confirmed tomorrow, next week, or never at all, the rumor itself has already given fans something priceless, a dream worth believing in. And in sports, sometimes that dream is enough to change everything, because once people start believing, reality tends to follow right behind. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.